AITA for telling my brother if his kids go hungry that's his problem not mine. Throw away my English is a work in progress so just a warning. I'll call my brother Mike and my ex Tammy. 10 years ago my then fiancé left me at the altar, most humiliating thing I've ever been through. And went on our honeymoon with Mike. In her note she told me she loved him since high school but he was never interested so she used me to get to him. She claimed to have loved me at some point but after a drunken one-night stand her and Mike knew they were soulmates. I'm not gonna lie, I was a wreck for about a year. Every time I tried to move forward that day her mother tearfully handing me the note and everyone's faces would set me back. But time's a healer. I've moved on. I disowned Mike and haven't spoken to both of them in 10 years. For the first 2 years my family hid they had any contact with him but then just basically sat me down one day, told me Tammy was pregnant and Mike was planning to marry her soon so I needed to get over because they were going to the wedding, baby shower etc. To honest I was hurt at the way they went about it but they're adults, I can't control what they do with their lives. I simply asked they not invite me to anything they would be at or expect me to forgive him, which they tried multiple times to make us talk but after a year of no contact they got the picture. Fast forward to last week I heard Mike and Tammy are expecting their 5th child and Mike's business went bankrupt last September. Then the chain Tammy works at closed down and they have zero savings apparently. My family have hinted that my wife and I should help them because we are the most financially successful for the kids' sake. My wife told them straight up no and said tell Mike to look for a job and we left. A while later I got a call from an unknown number. I had a feeling who it was but I just had to answer. From the moment I said hello both Mike and Tammy started ranting about me needing to get over Tammy. I'm my wife's a queen, saying I'm a piece of shit for punishing kids for something that happened years ago. Finally my brother asked me how does it feel to be the reason his kids go hungry. So I told him that's his problem not mine. They started yelling/crying so I just hung up. Since then my whole family is calling names for taking my anger out on Mike's innocent children. My wife said I should tell them all go fuck themselves and asked them to put their hands in their own pockets. NTA, I'm sorry that happened to you, but you dodged a huge bullet there. Your wife is a queen. Take her on a nice date. We are in lockdown so I plan on doing a dye pamper night for her. Gotta make sure my queen's nails look good. NTA, and it sounds like you definitely upgraded when marrying your wife. Good on you op. Tell the rest of the family to help Mike if they're so concerned. If you're really worried about the kids going hungry maybe a call to CPS is in order. I agree about the upgrade. Mora is the type of person everyone needs in their lives. I don't know how my sorry ass ever got so lucky. NTA, they are complete idiots. If you are asking for someone to help you, you grovel at their feet, not tell them how shitty of a person they are. Secondly, how irresponsible of them to have a 5th child that they cannot support. Sorry about your family mess. I'd say just continue not having them in your life like you have been. If your parents want to help then that's their choice. You owe your brother nothing. Secondly, how irresponsible of them to have a 5th child that they cannot support. Yeah. Op should forget the food basket and send them some condoms. Or a note asking if they would like his wife the doctor to write a prescription for some birth control. I really am in love with your wife and I'm getting a tan from her blazing shiny spine. She is right. Plus, she is truly all the family you need. Mike and Tammy made their choice 10 years ago. The thing is Tammy knew what she was doing and could have ended it way before the ceremony. Coupled with the fact she had a one-night stand, where your bro gets his culpability, the gross cherry on top. They took your honeymoon. I'd have sued her for that. I hope you got the ring back or dues for the cost. Oh yeah, might be good to mention to your family you already chipped in. And state the above reasons if they never paid you back. NTA. Edit to say thank you for all the awards. AITA for not wanting to go on a family vacation to Disney and ruining everyone else's plans. My husband and I live a happy, quiet life in the mountains. No kids, a few pets, lots of friends and adventures to go on. My in-laws are nice people. They got the vacation planning bug and have decided that the big family vacation this fall is going to be going to Disney. Said their plans sound great, and I can't wait to see pictures. Mill said that we'd be joining them. It's a family vacation. Theme parks, especially overly crowded, Hot, expensive ones with screaming and crying kids, and a week with his family. Hard pass. My idea of a fun vacation is camping for a week and hiking or backpacking, quiet solitude in the trees. We said we aren't interested, but that we're happy they get to go. Mill argued that we have to go because it's a family vacation. I explained that from my perspective, that's a lot of time to spend with everyone, that's a lot of time to spend with the kids who will be overstimulated, overtired, cranky from travel, etc., and that it doesn't sound like leisure, it sounds like work. Mill looked shocked and hurt, and said, I didn't realize you looked at your nieces and nephews that way. Husband said that we love them, just in small doses, and that we honestly wouldn't enjoy being around everyone else for the whole time either, and that quite honestly we're just not theme park people. Bill looked so disappointed and made a quick excuse to get off the call. We discussed it again after and were both in firm agreement. A few days later, his brother called and yelled at him for ruining everyone else's vacation. I guess because we aren't going, it'll cost more for everyone, and the parents won't get a break because they can't take a day off and send the kids with auntie and uncle for a few hours. Husband said, oh, so the whole reason you guys wanted us to come in the first place is so you had babysitters. Bill got super offended by that and made a comment that spending time with your nephews isn't babysitting, and went off on how we don't know how to be part of a family, we just go off on our own and do our own thing without caring how anyone else is doing. It's caused this big rift, and part of me wonders if we're just supposed to suck it up and endure a week at some overpriced, gaudy theme park just so everyone else in the family gets theirs. AITA update. I just wanted to redirect some of the child hate going on in the comments. We don't dislike the kids in the family. We spend time with them. We see them every 3 or so months and visit over holidays. The kids are perfectly good kids, but spending more than a day or two with them and the rest of the family is a bit much. It has nothing to do with the kids being brats or anything like that. They're just kids. Update 2. Thanks for the perspectives, all. We're definitely not going to go on this vacation, or to Florida at all. No offense, Floridians, but I'd rather not meet Florida man. We are going to make sure to let everyone know that if they want to see us more often, they're going to have to put in some effort to at least meet us halfway, and come see us instead of us always coming down to see them. And of course let Mill, we're sorry for the way we put the rejection, but reiterate that we're not interested in a big trip for a week long, and we'll consider popping in a day or two if they do a vacation to somewhere more our speed. NTA. A Disney vacation is expensive beyond belief, and it's not worth going if you don't like theme parks. Plus you can't plan a vacation and say that someone has to go. That's ridiculous. You can invite them to come along, but it's rude and crazy to say that you have to go. Also, they were 100% wanting you to go as a babysitter for a day. That's ridiculous of them. The amount of money they quoted sounded insane, like we could fly to somewhere in Europe and go backcountry hiking for days and spend time in town for that amount. Update. Please stop asking me for the amount. I'm not interested in discussing finances. You didn't ruin a family vacation, you declined to go on a trip where you were expected to subsidize something you had zero interest in and babysit to boot. NTA. If the family wants everyone to go on a family trip, they need to start by involving everyone in the planning. That way, they can plan trips that hold at least some interest for everybody going. NTA. Bill was offended because he got called out on something that was true. They wanted you to subsidize part of cost and babysit kids. Would be the one offended, were I you. NTA. First, it would seem that they would have received some discount with more adults, or were going to add additional costs, cause you know you are child free and have the money. Second, I agree they only wanted you there as a cash cow and babysitter. Third, I think it may be time for a little time out from that side of the family. Their priorities seem whack. Bet the plan was to divide the total cost by the number of families, rather than a true per person cost. So Op and her husband will be subsidizing the families with kids. AITA for telling my daughter it's her fault that her babysitter quit. I have 3 kids, 6, 4 and nearly a year old. When I was pregnant with my youngest, I hired a sitter to pick the other two up from school and watch them. We really liked her and appreciated her. My eldest loved her babysitter, but she began to develop a huge attitude. I know one of her friends has a nanny who she's basically allowed to boss around with little consequence. We told my daughter that her sitter is in charge and she's to respect her, not demand things of her. A few months ago, the sitter asked my daughter to grab the baby's diaper bag and my daughter sassed back saying, "You can't tell me what to do, I'm the boss of you." Sitter told me that night and I immediately addressed it, in front of the sitter. I told my daughter that was not acceptable. She's not the boss of anyone, and I took away her TV privilege for a week. It happened again just a month later and I had a much sterner talk with her, took away more privileges. Both times I made her verbally apologize and write a note of apology to her sitter. The sitter accepted it, but I could tell she was losing patience. I didn't blame her and ended up giving her a raise out of guilt. I also stopped arranging playdates for her and the friend who treated her nanny terribly. They don't go to the same school, so they don't see each other at all anymore. I'll add, I did try talking with my daughter calmly and asking why she felt this was okay. She'd say, "We pay her, I'm her boss." And I said, "No, that's not true." Said she is hired to take care of her and deserved respect. My daughter would always seem to understand. Well, things came to a head a few weeks ago. My daughter was acting up. Sitter had tried several de-escalation tactics but finally told her to go have quiet time in her room. My daughter screamed in her face, "I'm the boss of you. I'll get you fired." The sitter calmly picked up the phone and called me. We have cameras in our house which she knew about, and told me to come home immediately. Upon arrival, she quit. Nothing I said or did could make her stay, and I understood. I was furious with my daughter and let her have it. She had several things taken away from her and she didn't do anything remotely fun until recently. This whole thing has left us in a bind. Luckily, the school that my younger two go to is open later, so I can pick them up when I get off work. I've been scrambling to find a new sitter, but in the meantime, I got my daughter into an after-school program. Because there's no more sitter, there's no one to take her to her swim class. She's been complaining that she can't do it anymore and I told her that it's her own fault. She is why her sitter quit, and until I can find someone new, she won't get to do the fun activities that her sitter took her to. My husband agrees that there's nothing we can do, but thinks I was far too harsh with our daughter, saying she's only 6. If she's old enough to understand that you'll pay her and she's their boss, she's old enough to get told it's your fault she left. She was being snotty AF and you're saving yourself and husband a lot of trouble dealing with it now. NTA. Info: is there any other indication of this kind of behavior, or is it exclusive to the sitter? Aside from the bratty friend, do you know of any other sources she might be learning this mindset from? I would strongly encourage monitoring and assessing the media she is consuming, because this feels very much like learned behavior from an older influence than another misbehaved 6-year-old. NTA. Personally, I think pointing out that not being able to go swim is a direct result if not having a sitter, and that not having a sitter is a result of her behavior is a good example of natural consequences. And when you get a new sitter, I would carefully go over appropriate behavior again. I would want to have a plan with the new sitter for if she tries the same tactics again. This child needs to be told mommy and daddy have the money to pay babysitter, not her. Babysitter is paid to take mommy and daddy's job while they work. Mommy and daddy are the boss. So when babysitter is there, babysitter is the boss. A 6-year-old can understand that.